for as long as you've been in the league and watching the NBA, there's certain, I was mentioning this, I could watch from afar, and I'm going to use obviously Marcus Smart. I'm going to use my example of when he was in Boston. Didn't matter whether I liked the Celtics or I didn't like the Celtics. I like watching players like that. They're not going to be the focal point of your offense. They're going to find other ways to impact the game. Their defensive presence and mindset, even for you, someone like you, a 10-year vet in the league, not only did at times you had to play that role, but there's other times where you're playing with guys that are kind of the epitome of that role. I'm not sure what Marcus Smart the Lakers are going to get. I think he's just got to be healthy and available, and I feel like there's no reason why he can't be a really impactful player for the Lakers. I mean, hell, it's 2023 that he won Defensive Player of the or was in the running on from that perspective, and eventually winning that award. My question for you is, what kind of player is Marcus Smart, and what can he potentially be for the Lakers this upcoming season?
Marcus is a winner. He defends. He knows how to blow up a game plan. He brings a lot of energy night in and night out. He's a guy that can, in moments, can step up and score the basketball. But for the most part, he's more comfortable playing a role at the end of the day. And I think you hit it right on the head. The question is health there. But as far as being physical, being aggressive, that's a need that the Lakers had, and a big need. And here's the thing: when they lost Finney Smith, Finney's consistent. Finney's going to give you, just about 82 games. Defense, shooting. He's gonna play his role. But I think the challenge, Smart potentially could play that role into a higher degree. But the challenge with Marcus Smart, again, is he going to be healthy? Does he have the same energy to exert?
Yeah,
So yeah, that's
it's
that's it.
no, it's funny, Ryan, because when you say you mention it, and I was kind of look at certain players, and I think what you said, Lakers had a need for that player, and I think that's obviously what they've been trying to address this offseason is making sure, and they almost got to do it at a they got to be creative, they got to do it at a budget just based off of their situation and predicament. They end up with Ayton, they end up with Marcus Smart. And I got a couple questions for you on the DeAndre Ayton front. What do you make of Ayton? What do you make of DeAndre Ayton? Just kind of, somebody that was in the league for a while, obviously a big as well. What are you hoping to see from him? And I guess my question is, if things are clicking for DeAndre Ayton this year, what is he for the Lakers?
He started at center on a group that went to the finals. He didn't play well. He wasn't mentally prepared to play against Nikola Jokic. I think people are holding that against him. He's still young. He has some mental lapses. I think he forgets how special, how talented he is. And I think the challenge with Aiton is to see if LeBron is going to take him and pull him by the side. If Luke is going to take him and embrace him, how well that he hit. I'm not even looking at on the court. I'm looking at off the court chemistry. I'm looking at body language, how well they embrace him because he's really the key to them being good. And when he rim runs and catches lobs, he truly excels. And he made Phoenix special. I was surprised whatever happened, the way that Phoenix, kind of turned, uh, they kind of just washed their hands of him. So I think it's a redemption story. He's an LA kid. He's going to be ecstatic to be back home. And I don't think I write Aiden off. And you got to understand the price tag that you got him for. That is ridiculous for a guy that young. So he has a chance to come out and prove himself, and he's going to be the special part of this season. And how well that he meshes in with what LA is trying to do.
So you mentioned off the court, what it looks like. How about on the court when he's playing with Luka or he's playing with LeBron? Like, how can he? And you know this better than anybody else because I think obviously we were all watching it. Lakers had such a hole last season because they just didn't have enough size. How can he? I'm not telling you it's all going to be on his shoulders and on his back, but they got a big now. They didn't have a big before, and like you said, to get him at that price tag, just 26 years old, the upside, everything else that comes with it. What do players like Luka and LeBron unlock for him on the actual floor?
Well, if they can get him easy buckets at the rim, his confidence is going to continue to grow and excel. And I've been watching Aiton since he was in high school, man. And for him, he was a three. He was a wing. He was the guy who ran the wings. That's how talented he was and the footwork that he has. So he can go out and switch 1 through 5. He brings a lot to the table. He's got a soft touch inside. So I think the more that they can feed him, get him going, I think that changes the dynamic on the floor. And again, he's got a soft touch. I think he's got to stay in attack mode. You got to get him early buckets, and for him, it's confidence. He can do everything that you need from a big. That's not a question there.
All right, final one. KD ends up with the Houston Rockets. You know, it's funny. I think he's going to kill it in Houston, and whatever that description may be. But the example that I like giving is KD can now just be Kevin Durant. They're not going to ask him to do anything other than just be him, and they need him to just be him. So that's a great spot for him to be in. I'm a big fan of Ime Udoka. I'm a big fan of kind of what the Rockets are building over there. There's also people that say, well, KD is about to be 37, and look, he hasn't really had success at his last couple of stops. What's your thought on how KD fits in with the Rockets?
It fits in perfect because it's not Phoenix and it's not Brooklyn. The reason I say that is because you're asking for a little point forward out of him. You're putting so much on his shoulders. And now in Houston, you already have a culture built that plays defense, that rebounds, that's young, wants to get out and push tempo. Udoka with the defense. So now you're saying, KD, come in and score the basketball. You're not really asking him to build culture. You're not asking him to, play point forward, like he did a lot of in Phoenix. You got Fred VanVleet, who's going to lead the show. And you got Alperen Şengün, who takes a double team on the block. So now you're saying, Kevin Durant, you got your one-on-one, go score the basketball. And I think those are exciting words to Kevin Durant, and I think to the NBA. And even, hey, if he needs some rest, you got a young Amin Thompson, you got Alperen Şengün, you got guys who can, Jabari Smith Jr., you got guys, Tari Eason, you got guys who can, kind of manufacture wins, and we're able to do it, and kind of showed a lot of that last season. So I'm excited to see what Kevin Durant brings to the table. He's a guy who already was kind of integrated in with our young guys a little bit. He'd bring them in and invite them to workouts last season and work out with him, and I thought that was absolutely great for him to do. And now he gets to continue that mentorship actually in the locker room.
All right, you taking time off? And what is Ryan Hollins in the off season? Like, why do I feel like you're at the gym at 6 a.m. in the morning, and I feel like you're rebroadcasting games at 10 a.m. Why do I feel like you're working all the time?
You know what, man? I'm that's kind of what I do, man. I'm in the gym. I got the kids in the gym. I'm working out. I feel like it's harder work running around with my kids than actually doing the NBA, man. This is it's taxing. It's a day-to-day grind, So I'm at it. I'm working. I'm down 15 pounds, man. There you go. I'm sure you like that, man.
You're the man, brother. Well, listen, I hope the offseason goes well. Appreciate your time as always and your insight. And then we'll chat with you as we get closer to the season.
All right, brother. We'll talk soon.
Thank you very much for watching the clip. Just want to give a shout out here to one of our partners, the Wallace Firm. They are official injury attorney of the Sliwa Show and Hoops Talk, the entire channel. If you are ever in a need, and I hope you're not, but some type of serious injury with yourself or a family member of yours, I would like to personally help you by introducing you to the best in the business, Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Also got a URL out here that you can use as well. Just go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Thank you for their partnership, and thank you for being a part of the Sliwa Show.